Okay, so looks like I'm making a post a little bit sooner than I had planned. Well, let's see. First of all, it's amazing to know that something so menial as a debate on supporting heterosexual marriage and gay marriage will make someone unfriend another. Woo! It's just absolutely amazing. The way I feel in terms of marriage is marriage is marriage. Let people marry and love who the fuck they want. It doesn't. Love is love. The way I see it, though, is it's unfair to a very minor part of the human population. There are individuals out there that are born as either or neither gender. They are intersexuals, not hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites do not exist. Hermaphrodites have the ability to reproduce. Intersexuals do not. As unfortunate as it is for them, there's a lot of consequences to being intersexual that these individuals do not deserve. And so when it comes to conforming to one gender or another, I think it's really unfair to intersexual individuals who are either or neither gender. And on top of that, for a lot of the religious fanatics out there, James chapter 4, verses 11 and 12 essentially say, to judge others sets the standards for your own judgment. Thus, if you judge someone else according to Christian biblical law, that's setting you up to be judged by the standards you are judging others by. So, it's very hypocritical when I see a lot of the religious debates in terms of pretty much anything in life. Anything that religion has to, especially the Christian religion, anything that the Christian religion has to debate or protest against in any sort of negative, derogatory, or hateful manner is pretty much going against their own beliefs, thus making them hypocrites. And so this is why I do not ally myself with religion. I do believe that there are higher powers or a higher power out there that exists. I mean, let's see, there's 10 dimensions so far, and I think that technically there is an infinite number of dimensions. We label these dimensions based on criteria that exist in our own dimension. And technically, we created 1D and 2D, in essence, if you want to get technical. But there's a whole lot of philosophical bullshit about that. But in essence, my stance on marriage is just let people marry who the fuck they want. It doesn't really freaking matter. I mean, the historical basis of marriage started in pretty much the caveman days where man owned woman. Woman was supposed to be labeled or shown to belong to this man and to tell other men, stay away from this woman, don't touch her, she's mine. That's how marriage started. It's just evolved into this big old meaningful thing that has been integrated into religion, which in some regards I think religion was actually created by some sort of schizophrenic person who heard voices and thus made religion. But that's another story. I'm probably going to get quite a few flames for this, but I don't really care. The other rant that I have is this stupid dick ass in my neighborhood. He's got this freaking pinkish fuchsia colored SUV. It's kind of like this color here, only like more pink. And, I'm driving through town, and I'm getting right to the entrance of town where I'm getting ready to turn and leave. And this dickwad, without enough room, just turned right in front of me and sits there and creeps along under the speed limit. So I'm sitting here, I'm getting ready to turn off on my thing. He suddenly pops over and turns onto the street before me on the same street that I'm turning on. So I go this way, while he continues this way. Next thing you know, I get on my street and I'm coming to my driveway. He's sitting in front of my fucking house. And all he does is sit there and squeezes me into this tiny little thing. This tiny little space on the street. Because he's in the middle of the freaking road instead of on the left side. And sits there and all he does is stare at me. He doesn't say anything. He just rolls down his window and he stares at me. So I just yanked myself into my driveway. And he just kind of mosey on by. And if he tries anything against my vehicle or my property, this man will pay for the consequences. But no, stupid dick-ass men like that quickly piss me off. And in terms of why I am specifying man, I do have my reasons for why I dislike a good number of the male population. However, not all men are bad. Not all men are evil. They're not all woo-woo, I'm all about sex and discriminating against women. However, I almost sort of have a phobia of men. And it's not to say that I'm lesbian. I'm pansexual or asexual, but technically I can't be asexual because I have a sex drive. So I would consider myself pansexual. Gender really doesn't matter. And, be it a transgender, an intersexual, or a transsexual person, if here counts, that's really all that matters. If it's the heart, the personality, it's not necessarily the body, the physical entity. So I sort of have a minor phobia of the male gender. They're hairy, rough, stinky, and pretty much a good 90% of men just don't really have a good sense of hygiene and domestic hygiene. Whereas this encompasses their living space. Their living space is... Don't even get me started on that. Ooh. I mean, yes, sure. In this video, the part of my room that can be seen in this video might look cluttered, but it's actually very organized. I have my desk under there. I don't actually use my desk, thus that is why I use it to put like my luggage on top of or store things, because I have a room that's only 9 by 9. So, I mean, the stuff that I have doesn't really have a lot of places to go, but I have a clean floor. I actually have to make it fall-proof because of, I was diagnosed with vasovagal syncope, however that last word is pronounced. But in essence, I pass out at random. And usually, most often, laughter tends to be the trigger. I'll be laughing my ass off at something absolutely hilarious that everyone else will laugh at, and I'll pass out. And one of the times that I did that here in the bedroom, I collapsed out of my chair. I fell out of my chair because it fell from underneath me. It's one of those round chairs. It's got kind of like rounded legs. And so if you lean a certain way, the chair just kind of like slides from under you. And that's exactly what happened. And my body ended up rotating and I smacked my hand on something. I can't remember for the life of me what it hit. But I also had a bruise on my collarbone from where I landed on my wooden sword, which is currently down there. But I had to make my room fall-proof. So my floor is clean, and things are in a specific order, and a lot of the objects I now have in here have rounded corners and not sharp corners. I actually still have a scar on my hand from whatever I hit my hand on. I scar too easily. But, so, I'm a person who likes a clean, organized, domestic area. And that's why in my previous blog that was earlier today, I was really, really pissed off about the fact that I'm always having to do the dishes and no one else but me does the dishes. And, you know, when people are living under the same roof, you're supposed to contribute to the welfare of the house itself. I mean, it's common in roommating situations. If you've got a roommate, you expect them to pull their own weight, right? It's the same thing here. I'm pulling everybody's weight, and no one is pulling their own weight, except for my grandma when she's here. Though my grandma's kind of a special story. She's kind of starting to go a little bit senile in her old age. She's having a hard time admitting the fact that she's having trouble with depth perception, and also she's starting to go colorblind. And a lot of this turns into this weird sort of frustration where she pulls a lot of guilt trips on everybody. So my grandma's sort of a special case. She's in her late 60s. So, yeah, that's what happens when you get older. That's okay. I face Alzheimer's when I get older. That's going to be fun. I feel sorry for any offspring I might end up having. But, yeah, so 2 major rants is, yay, whoo, one little tiny debate is going to make you unfriend somebody. Means you weren't really a friend in the first place. Good job. Second rant. Dickwads in the neighborhood being drivable assholes. And if they try anything, I will be sure to make them pay. Outside of that, I guess that's it for the day. I just have my final project to do. I got all of my chores accomplished, all of my errands done. So I'm just going to go watch some Xena and play some Zelda.